Hi y'all, and we're back. My name is Nigel, Daniel, whatever. So, the thing is that both of the cameras are back. Both the MPD camera and my face camera is now back in here because here's the thing. I've realized that in Windows you could do this like magnifying glass thing, and turns out you can do it on Mac as well. Look, here's it. You can finally see the BPM and shit and the stuff that I do up here. Um, I will probably not always show it, maybe only if you need to see it, you know. Um, I tried putting it down here, but honestly, that was obscuring the effects chains a bit more than I wanted. And I think the stuff that's happening down here is more important than what's up there because usually I just set the BPM and go off on it. So, hmm, let us make a beat or two or three. I'm not even sure whether I put my coffee. Getting ready for the beat. Okay, I think we're gonna start off with drums. I rarely start off with drums. I always start with a kick. What if I just go like this scenario? It would be nice for you to see. I'm gonna start off with the snare, and let me see. Usually when I'm looking for drum samples, I already have like a melody or something, an idea to go off of. I'm very mindful about the tuning of the drums that I use. I think it's a really important thing that not a lot of people consider, especially when they start off and they're beginners. Um, and the thing is that I can really only show it to you once we have a melody, because you need, of course, the context of the melody to tune your drums to something. Basically, um, until I have nothing, I'm just gonna go off with something that I like that makes me go, yeah. I think I'm gonna go with like a rim shot. I've been listening to a lot of like old school Dilla tapes, and I'm really, really inspired by the sound. The funky shit is that there have been like most of the beats that are up there on those beat tapes, whoa, have been out in some way through another artist. So like maybe Dynamite from The Roots, which is a Dilla beat, is on there before like the rapping and before the mixing and mastering, and it just sounds so fucking raw, straight out of the SP 1200 or whatever he was using at that time. And I really like the simplicity and just like the 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 rawness. That's the word. It's raw. Yeah, mint sushi. For those of you who know, oh my god, this sounds like, I like this. A bit eclectic. I like some goofy shit. Something that's like, go ahead, money. What's up? Oh my god. Oh my god. What's going on? Okay, I think I'm gonna turn the fucking thing off right now. The magnifying glass. Alright. Okay, we got rim shot. We need kick. Like, I'm basically gonna go with like a J Dilla tribute drum kit now, which is usually very high tuned, crisp, attacky, like this shit, something like this, like a rim shot, short, snappy, and then the kicks are usually like low and muffled and like kind of maybe this, but I'm not gonna go super strictly Dilla. I'm not really like, well, this is gonna be fucking Dilla anyways because the way I observe creatives, creative people in general is that there isn't really such a thing as like a completely original idea. There's always something that inspires it, and even if it's not like a specific piece of music or a piece of art from the same medium, it's sometimes inspired by your inner thoughts, your little emotions, or the big emotions. Matter of fact, I think if we look back at the beginning of music, I'm not sure anybody has like any evidence of how it really started, but I think the general consensus and like most people's guess is like the first music people played was inspired by the sounds of nature, like birds chirping, um, big mammals doing like the mating calls, the thunder, the rain. Thunder and rain are like the kick and like the hi hats or like the snare even, if you think about it. And then the melody is like the birds chirping. The bass might be the mating call of like a moose or something, prehistoric moose. And if you put these things together, it's not really difficult to sort of see where music might be coming from. What I'm trying to get at is that you shouldn't be afraid to do something that sounds a bit like somebody else because it's always going to be your interpretation. Obviously, I'm not saying copy somebody else's work one on one, but if you like got something that you like and it's like, oh my god, this sounds like a Premiere beat, whatever, you like it, go ahead. Fucking Alchemist's early work was basically DJ Premier knockoff beats. They were really good. And that's the reason why he got so fucking famous. And eventually, of course, he found his own style, which is basically Rock Marciano style. But like, because Alchemist has such a good ear for samples and like he's I think an exceptional songwriter and producer and even rapper. Like I think he's a very slept on rapper because he knows what he's doing and what he wants. It works, and nobody gives a shit that he copied Primo back in the day or he's now copying Rock Marciano, and Rock Marciano copied RZA, and RZA was just like, I'll do something else, money. I need something else. Something else. He was fed up with the machine shit. Dude, everybody since like the early days of quantized electronic music, everybody's like, we just need that old soul back. Jay Dilla was like the same. Read fucking Dilla Time. It's a great book. Enough of the yapping. Go back. D'Angelo did the same thing, and they did it in parallel with Dilla before even knowing each other. Oh my god. Please do read Dilla Time. Back to the show. We need a hi-hat. The coffee gets me yapping. Yes, sir. Okay. I also kind of like it when the fucking hi-hat is just kind of out of place. Or like those old school boom bap beats. It's just like maybe too much or it's just like too eclectic. And it was... Okay, this is too far out, but a little goes a long way. Even if your drums sound out of place or like your mix sounds out of place, I recommend trying different levels. Just listen to it actively, go like... Now this is good, but what previously was a problem for me, rewinding back when I tried the hi-hat, that it was too loud, it was too overpowering, and it's weird. Weird sounding as well as overpowering. And in order to find the balance, you're not only gonna have to understand the general levels you need to put each part of the drum set, but also how they sound next to each other. Because in this case, both the snare and the hi-hat are kind of eclectic. And you gotta sort of always find balance in sound design. It's really nice to have something that's like out of place because it's gonna make it more unique, more interesting. I think dissonance is a very underrated and important part of music because without the ugly, you're not gonna be able to appreciate the beautiful. And also, life isn't just beautiful, it isn't just happy all the time. You gotta give the bad things some credit in some way, or just at least notice them and put it in your music. Because if you let it out, it's gonna be easier to process in real life. And I know that we are going through some rough times, some of us a bit more than others. I hope you're doing well. I wish the best for all of y'all. Don't forget to have fun when you have the time and just listen to some music and just fucking let shit out, That's what I'm here for. Sending love to all of you. Now, What I really wanted to get back to about the snare and the hi-hat is that if there's too much weird and eclectic shit goes on, it might not work. You either have to be full balls deep into what you're doing and then make it sound really disgusting, or be very mindful. You cannot really go like, you cannot really just be like stuck in between. So now I have a decision to make, and the decision that I'm gonna make is to make it dirty and disgusting. What can you do? I can do like some. I'm gonna go with some saturation. I really love the stock saturator plugin. I have been using it, I think, in every beat video that I've made so far. And with this preset, it's really like the bass. You put it here. It's bass as vase. You put it to like, what is it? 20, 21-ish, and then you play with the dry wet. But like this. Let me try it with that. Maybe it could be a bit more aggressive. Distortion is your friend. Because compression, if you want to make it louder, you are going to have to make it louder. Which means that you're going to have to be mindful of the headroom of your software, of your sound gear. The headroom is essentially how loud you can go with each individual track, or like the general volume of your song. And if you're trying to make compressed anything loud, you have to like increase the loudness. But if you use saturation, that's one of the neatest party trick you can use to make things pop out more without using anything from the headroom. And basically it's because saturation doesn't increase the level. Saturation increases the high frequencies, or like the overtones. I'm not gonna go into it that deeply, but basically it just makes the things feel like they're louder. Not necessarily louder, but if you have to be mindful, because if you go too much, this actually sounds nice, but this can be a bit too much on certain things that will just get distorted. So try it out on different speakers. That usually helps me get an idea of where things are. Now, I also have this little plugin called the SP950. This is like an emulation of the old SP1200 sampler and like the Akai S950. I talked about this in a previous video, and I'm gonna use it because I like it very much. This is basically a bit crusher. We are getting there, but I think I'm gonna have to tune the kick a bit more and take the hi-hat a bit down, and maybe even tune that a bit up. And I hear it. It's suddenly like everything clicks into place. Really, when it comes to like transposing things, just use your ear. There isn't really another way to go about it. Like drums usually have a certain tone which you can point out as like, this is the bass tone of like the pitch of each drum piece, but it's never going to be that clearly audible as on like a guitar or a piano or any other melodic instrument. But there's a very apparent pitch to each drum piece you're gonna use, so you have to play around with it. I think the best method that you can do both in mixing and sound design is just putting something on it, or plugin, or just playing with the parameters. Because, usually things that they teach in school, they work most of the time, but at the rest of the time, the only thing that's gonna work is what's gonna work. And the only way to know what's gonna work is by trying. Pushing it all the way to the top and to the bottom, and just like playing with it until it works. And right now, this is something I'm really happy with. And I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna record a quick couple bars, loop maybe this much, And I'm gonna go to like you know what? I usually record by hand. I like to keep it as unquantized as possible because I'm coming from the school of Dilla and D'Angelo, just as I said, and RZA very much. I'm really inspired by how RZA keeps the dirtiness in his music. That's something I find very human and organic and just like raw, as I've said it before. So what I'm gonna do now, however, I'm gonna go with the Dilla method, which is basically recording it, quantizing it, and then moving each element a bit to make it work. So I'm just gonna go like, woo. Actually, so I'm gonna like, all right. So what I just did now is there's this. What the hell is this? I don't know. This button here in Ableton, which like Ableton always records at least like I don't know, a couple seconds of MIDI that you're playing, even if you're not recording. And then if you press this button, it will recall it, and it records the BPM. So like, before this, it was 120, and I didn't touch the BPM counter here. Basically, what I just did as I was playing, I was aiming for something above 90, nothing specific. I was just allowing my body to play the beat, and it recorded the BPM as well because it sort of recognizes like basic drum grooves or even like basic melodies. So that's really something nice about Ableton. And as I can see, my incredible timing allowed Ableton to set the BPM to 93 on the dot. How about that? And I'm not even a drummer. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Now we go in there and I can see that this one is almost, whoa. Let me see. Okay. Stop. I don't need to record. This is actually nice. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to quantize it and go through like how Dilla makes drums or like made drums. So like what was the general method? Because initially, before the MPC times, he was using an SP1200. And on the SP1200, you cannot really do what I'm about to do. And what I'm about to do is like, I'm going to go ahead, quantize it on like a 16th grid. So it's like we have 16th notes. I'm going to set triplet mode on so we can have like a swingy sound. I'm going to just get everybody with Command A and then Command U. We got quantization. Perfectly on grid. Now, if I'm correct, you could do it on the SP1200. But what you couldn't do on the SP1200, what you could do on the MPC, and what Dilla did a lot of times is like, I'm going to go ahead and just go for the snare and pull it a bit before. So it's like, this is very subtle. I think I'm going to make it a bit more extreme so you can hear what's going on. Basically, what's happened if I just... Alright, okay. What's happening now is that I got a straight... hi-hats. Because of the triplet grid being set to 16th notes, I can also just stay here on like the quarter notes if I'm good. Quarter notes is just gonna keep me straight. So if you just look at the hi-hat, it's like there's no shuffle in there. It's just like straight, whatever. But because the snare is a bit ahead of the time, in context to the snare, and this is why context always fucking matters in music, things being compared to each other, is that in compared to the snare, it's gonna be shuffle basically, or it's gonna have like sort of like a shuffle feel. And what Dilla also did is that he got the kicks and moved it a bit behind the beat to make it even more. Yeah, right. And I just, regardless of what I said, I ended up making a Dilla groove. All right, whatever. I really like the man. Okay. What I'm also gonna do is now, what else? What else can we tweak around with? What else can we, tweaking around with to make it more human sounding. Of course, the velocity. What is the velocity? The velocity is how hard you play each note on the MIDI controller. So I can like go like very soft and go like as hard as I can. And there's like a whole spectrum in MIDI, which is the language that makes the music go on computer. Let's just call that. In MIDI, you can set the velocity between 1 and 127. And what I usually like to do is like I like to put the emphasis on the ones and as funk. And then maybe on the hi-hats get like sort of like every second note a bit lighter. So it's like emulates like a real drummer. So maybe if I'm like in real life I would play the hi-hat, I would put the emphasis on the first one and then make the second one a bit like, lighter. And what I'm going to do now is because I have the whole thing quantized anyways, I'm just going to delete it and I'm just going to copy this one. The first one is 126, the second one is 100. And let me just do and see how it sounds. You can hear so like just a bit of Alright, now let's go for the kicks. First kick goes up, boom. Second kick, a bit down. This is just how I naturally played it. Now, this little thing here, the boom. Now, if you want to emulate a real drummer, basically how this technique looks in real life is that you have the drum bass pedal. Usually, how drummers play it, imagine this is my foot. They don't really go like this. I always learn to kick like this, and it's not very ergonomical, not very good on your ankle. And so the proper technique is that you have the kick pedal here on the drums, your foot like this, it's suspended in the air, it's only like your toes on the fucking thing, and you go boom, 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 boom. You do this essentially. And if you want to do a double, you can do this little trick where you push down your toes, and because it's gonna jump back, you can use that momentum to sort of move your feet to your heels and then do it like that. So if fast, it's like or like what is it? 2-2. This is what's happening. So like, but faster. And because I'm not a super professional drummer, it's really hard for me to properly explain. But essentially, the result is from 1 to dom, 1 swift to dom with your feet. And the reason why I'm so elaborately explaining this little thing is to explain why the velocity is gonna go in a very specific way. Now, when a drummer does this little trick with their feet on the kick drum and to make a double, usually the first one isn't as hard as the second. Because you're going to go fast. You're going to sort of go with the momentum to make it happen. And you have to find the rhythm of the pedal itself, how fast it comes back because of the springs in them. And you can sort of play with the tension of the springs to like find your preferred rhythm. But because of this, how this technique works, the first note is usually much lighter than the second. And the second is much higher. Now, I didn't play properly right because I was doing it with my fingers on a MIDI controller, which is completely different. But in real life, it would sound something like this. So let you see. Mind these notes. You hear? Boom. Yeah. This sounds, way more natural if I'm being honest. It's just like, but as I see, it works the other way around with the MIDI controller in my case. So the rest of the kicks, velocities, I'm good with that. Let me see what we got. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do some reverb on it, because I like to play around with like a short reverb. I want to bring back the gated reverb in some shape or form. I think like Abracadabra by Lady Gaga sort of had that short reverb on it, and I think it's about to come back. But I'm gonna do what I can to bring it back. I like short reverb, just like sort of big and short reverb. It sounds goofy and weird. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we got our drum. Okay. This is like how we. That is that doesn't sound very good. If it does, then good for you. But to me, it doesn't sound very good. What can we do about it? Let me just go ahead and change just for the convolution IR, and then maybe go for like chambers and large rooms, real places. I need a real place to provide reverb for my drums. God damn. And I'm gonna go with. Oh! Why am I soloing? This is the only track. I'm like. Uh-huh. Woo! This is actually kind of hard. Wait, let me put it before the SP. Okay, maybe afterwards. Okay. This sounds weird. I'm gonna put a little compressor at the end. This is my custom preset. This is my secret sauce. My secret sauce, not sharing. This one I will gatekeep. You can check the fucking parameters of the plugin. This is just like Magic Death Eye. This is a really good compressor. I can only recommend it. You can change the. You can turn the lady on with this button, or turn the lady off. She's gone. I want her back. Okay, now we're here. Let me see how this sounds.
Disgusting! Disgusting!
Okay, I'm gonna go with one last little thing. I would like to have some tape where I've come up with a little thing. So let me show you something. This is an envelope follower. What it does, as you can see, as the drum groove goes, it turns the signal on, or like off, I guess. It follows the envelope of the drum. The envelope essentially means how does the sound look, basically. A sound consists of the transient, that's the very beginning, the body, I guess, and then decay. The end is like how it starts, what's essentially the general sound, and then how long it is, to put it into very like simple terms. Not very accurate, but simple. And it follows that sort of curve. But what can I do with it? And here comes the funny shit. Now, usually when it comes to like tape emulation, I think the simplest thing you can do is just like cut the highs off a bit. Or like a lot. You see? Actually, I kind of like it. But what I like to do, what I think this method really is lacking some of the organic elements of a tape saturation, or like tape in general, because it's very analog, it's very fragile. It's basically using the words of Phil X. It's using magic, the Earth's magnetic field. How cool is that? And that's random and it's raw. It's just, I said it, minta sushi. So how can we emulate sort of that randomness? And there we go with the envelope follower. I'm gonna go ahead and map it to the gain of this high shelf. But let me see how this works now. This is disgusting. This is goofy. Why? As you can see, here's this parameter goes from 0 to 100. This basically determines between what amount should the parameters move in. And it says basically from the 0 point of the gain to the 100 point of the gain, based on the drum sound, of course. That's too much for me. So what I'm gonna go and do is maybe go for like 40% here, maybe even 30, and then go for like 55% here. So maybe 45 and 25. But that is kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? Because basically what's happening is that every time the kick or the snare or the drum hits, it will push the high shelf back which means more high frequencies, which means more data. But I kind of want the opposite, because I imagine if there's like a tape that goes on and like the drum, it makes the drum sounds. It kind of that's where it's gonna wear, I guess, where the things are happening, isn't it? Where the things are strong. I'm not sure how it works in real life. This is just like a um, artistic interpretation. I urge you to use this freedom of artistic interpretation for your benefits. Just have fun. That's why we're here, aren't we? To have fun. So have fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it. If you change these, then it will not go from low to high, but from high to low. So if you go 100 here and then 0, it will start off at 100 and go to 0. Very important thing to keep in mind. And it was 45, 25. Let me see the other way around. Okay, I actually like this one better. Maybe go ahead and change the... You could toy around with these things a lot. Actually... Alright. I like it as it is now. I'm not gonna go deeper into the mixing, because when everything else comes in, we might have to tweak stuff. Because here's a very important mixing lesson. Mix listening to every track that is meant to play sound. Because you are going to listen to like a guitar track within the context of a song. So if you set up your guitar sound outside of the other instruments, it's gonna sound different when it's played with the instrument. So be mindful of that. And also, it might take away precious frequencies from other instruments that you might not even need. This, of course, differs from each scenario. Again, toy around with the parameters of your effects and stuff. Now, I need a sample. I need to chop the sample. I has to chop the sample. What happens if I just like write sample in there? Okay. We got what is this? Okay, what is this? Ooh. This is from the same thing. Okay. No. Choose. Let me see. Now, this would sound a lot like an early Alchemist beat. So yeah, like, I really love Alchemist, but like, we're not gonna go into that direction now. Or maybe we'll do, but does this count as cheating? The ninth wonder sample. I don't even know where I got this. Okay. The thing is, this is sexy as fuck. Now, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna shoot a couple of tricks. How to make the fucking sample chop work if the sample has been used by somebody else. Wow. The answer is very simple. It's just like transpose it all the way to like, it's like up or down until it becomes unrecognizable. Because funny thing, the algorithms, especially like modern digital gear, they vary a lot. So like when you change the pitch of a sample up or down, it could sound drastically different based on what you're using. So that also is something that adds to the uniqueness of the things that you're doing. This is gonna be a very long episode, but I'm talking about a lot of very important stuff. This is probably gonna be like mainly focusing on the drums and like specific stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and just like, first of all, get back to the slicing. I wanted to look for the algorithm, but I don't really care about it now. I'm gonna like the pitch change algorithm. So let's just go by beat, because I see this is sort of on the spot. So like, let me see with drums. Just like this is probably gonna work. Okay, that's actually nice. But I'm gonna go ahead and like maybe transpose with like 8. Not too crazy about it. Let's go the other way. Let me. Not too crazy about it. Let's go somewhere else. What's this? I mean, hell yeah, but like. I think I've used this in another beat. Wait. Let me go for like. I think there was a little something there. Is it right? That's it. Okay, this is very nice. What I'm thinking about, I might need something in the higher frequencies to sort of complement this little thing, because this feels to me like a mid-range little something that gives the whole thing some body and oh, the vibe. Of course. Wow. Huh. It's just I need this. Oh no, brown. Okay, you get the brown. Just this once. This is perfect. This is perfect. Oh no. My phone is about to die. Okay. Let me wrap it up. That is indeed a silly synth. I like silly synth. Let me put this here. And we're gonna go and cut the bottom end off, because you don't need the bottom end on this. It's like, okay, this. To get to the tuning, I sort of just realized that I intuitively looked for samples and for pitch based on the drums. So I don't really have to tune the drums now, because everything is sounds nice to my ears. So I'm not gonna go and check it. I'm just happy that it works. Okay. If you're looking for some colorless saturation, I recommend the auto filter, which has the clean mode here, but also several other modes that basically sound the same, and introduces a drive knob. So I'm just gonna go like, yeah, cut the very low end off because you don't need it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my come on, I have a little thing. So the original SP404, I mean maybe the SX and the A for sure. I have an A. I have like this thing called subsonic, and it basically just makes you it's just a very simple synthesizer, and it creates you some sub notes that you can tune. And I sampled a C note from that, so I can have like my custom SP404 bass. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh my goodness. Oh fuck. Yeah, that wasn't a very good idea. I need another channel for this. I'm so sorry. I almost ruined the sample. All right. I forgot to change these little things about it. Okay, let me see. And this is how it sounds. Mad Lib, J Dilla type shit. How do we make a song out of it? Very simple. Because we have a lot of shit now, the only thing that is remaining for us to do is to just like remove stuff from it, as I did it previously. How to remove? Listen to each part. Now, I know it, but this is gonna be the main thing. Because how everybody else sounds. This is a nice intro. I think I will keep it as like an intro with this one. And then we also have this little thing. This is like a layering something. This has no character without itself, but within the song it's like very nice. So I'm going to remove this and the drums and the bass, because the bass only is really going to matter when we start the song off very nice. So I'm going to go with like maybe like a small fill again to... Or maybe this like completely unrelated. What What the fuck? This is goofy. Let me see. Oh wait, to get the solo out. I think it's just gonna sound weird. Actually, no. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. God's bless you.
Okay. Let me just change it to do not look down. That's also a Meshuggah song. Do not look down. Alright. I think I'm not gonna bring it back this much. Okay, listen. Oh, this is metronome, yeah. Listen, I've been yapping so much. This is a very long video. I'm just gonna keep the beat like this, because we're not gonna go anywhere otherwise. This was a fun episode, talking about a lot of interesting, deep concepts that I hope you will be able to utilize with your own music. If you got any questions, do not hesitate to leave them in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Notification bell. Have a nice day. Love yous all. Mwah.